Alright, so I have to add this here to the beginning of the video because I focus so heavily on the possibility of this substantial unannounced PS4 exclusive being Bloodborne 2. I felt that this piece of information was too important to leave out, so I wanted to add it here to kind of back up what I've been saying throughout the video. It says, speaking to 4Gamer in an interview translated by Gamatsu, From Software president Hidetaka Miyazaki said that his studio currently has 2 unannounced games in the works, in addition to its development of the action-adventure game Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Miyazaki clarified that both games are From Software-esque, which appears to be a sneaky way of saying that they will contain the same types of gameplay mechanics that made the studio so successful, but they aren't ready to be shown off just yet. So yeah, it's coming. You know, this, I believe this was done this was said in December of 2018, so not that long ago, and it really does kind of, in my opinion, maybe add up to something here. To maybe this could actually be Bloodborne 2. I know that in this video, throughout it, I really talk about how much I want it to be, and it seems like wishful thinking, but after coming across this, you know, there's 2 unannounced projects. They're From Software-esque. There's high demand for Bloodborne 2. So, yeah. Alright, enjoy the video, guys. So I came across this interesting article, and it has to do with a rumor regarding a, quote, substantial PlayStation 4 second-party exclusive that's in the works and has yet to be announced. And I really wanted to go over this with you guys and really kind of dive into this and speculate a little bit, because I feel like we've been hearing for a little while now, actually, believe it or not, that there is a big title in the works that has been in the works that's kind of been kept really quiet, really under wraps, and Sony can announce it at any time. And there's been just a lot of speculation going around about it. And, you know, we have to ask ourselves if this is true, why Sony has been so quiet about it, why they're not eager to announce it. I think it's kind of obvious, right? Like, Sony is in a position where they do not feel pressured, which is not a bad thing at all, to come out here and scramble to announce things as soon as they can. But let's go over this. It says, the PlayStation 4 console has received some great exclusives so far, and more will be coming later this year, but it seems like there are still titles developed by second-party studios that are yet to be announced. Speaking about Sony's second-party studios, Colin Moriarty recently revealed that there is a, quote, substantial PlayStation 4 exclusive from a second-party developer that has yet to be announced. So I think this is the quote right here. It says, they've done such a nice job cultivating second-party relationship. There's a fairly substantial PS4 exclusive yet to be announced from second-party that it's unclear if they feel they need to. So it goes on to say, sadly, not much else has been said about this game, so we will have to wait for the announcement to learn more about it. Now that E3 is getting closer, and even though Sony will not be attending, there may still be announcements coming in the next few weeks. While the source is definitely trustworthy, we still have to take this with a grain of salt until confirmation comes in. So yeah, it is still a rumor, but Colin Moriarty, for those of you who don't know, he definitely has ties with people who work, you know, for PlayStation and for Sony, and there's definitely a lot he knows that sometimes he just doesn't talk about for obvious reasons, but sometimes, like now, he reveals some interesting information. And we have to really think, which game could this be? I say that as if I'm expecting it to be a sequel to something. Well, that's honestly because if there's a game right now that I would love for this to be, it would have to be Bloodborne 2. Because think about it. It would be a second-party deal with From Software, once again, just like Bloodborne 1, and I think it's safe to say it would be pretty substantial, to say the least. But maybe that's just me having, you know, wishful thoughts here and just really hoping that that's what this ends up being, because I just finished Bloodborne and I'm getting ready to go into the DLC, and it was an absolutely fantastic experience, one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had in my life. I'm a huge Dark Souls fan, and now that I've finished Bloodborne, I, at least, you know, based off of what I played, the main base game right now, I would love a sequel to Bloodborne. And I think it absolutely deserves a sequel, and I think it would be a travesty if it didn't end up getting a sequel eventually. And I think, honestly, when you look at Bloodborne and the way it's been received, I think it probably sold very, very well, right? Both Sony and From Software probably benefited greatly, not only from the critical acclaim it got, because almost everything From Software releases these days gets, really a lot of praise, but I'm sure it sold incredibly well on the PS4, and I would just have to imagine that both Sony and From Software would probably want to continue doing something with Bloodborne. But if it's not Bloodborne, what else could it be? What type of second party deal could it be? I mean, it could be something with Blue Point Games, just spitballing here. It could be maybe a Demon's Soul remaster. I did just talk about that. That is a rumor that's kind of been persisting a little bit where, Blue Point has remastered some of Sony's games in the past, and they were very well received, and people loved it. And I would imagine that Sony would want to continue that. And I think if you try to, think about any games as of right now that are very likely that would be considered substantial, I think Demon's Souls would definitely be a big one up there. You have to think, what else could there be? Honestly, I'm kind of drawing a blank right now. I feel like it could be anything. It just really, I just find it interesting that it's substantial. And you have to think Sony is clearly saving this for something. They want to save this announcement for maybe when they need it, where they feel it would be more beneficial for them. Because if you think about, let's just say it is a Bloodborne 2, right? And it's like somewhat deep in development or halfway, done or something like that. They could definitely announce it now. They probably could have announced it, yesterday if they wanted to. But maybe it just makes sense for them not to announce something like that yet, because if they know, like, this is huge, like, this is going to blow up, like, this is like a bombshell announcement here. I mean, at least to me, that's what it seems like. It really just wouldn't make a lot of sense for them to say, hey, let's announce it now, just unexpectedly. I mean, I still think people would be insanely hyped for it. I think no matter what, or when they decide to announce something like that, it would be huge. To be honest, I think no matter what Sony chooses to do or when they choose to announce a substantial second-party exclusive deal, I think it'll always have hype around it, right? Because of just the quality that people have come to expect and the expectation that's been set up by Sony themselves, which, it could be a double-edged sword here, because anytime it falls short of that expectation, people are a little bit let down. But at the same time, not every game needs to be a 10 out of 10. We would love that, but it doesn't have to be that way. But getting back to what I was saying, I feel that it just wouldn't really make sense for Sony to announce a, quote, substantial second-party exclusive deal or a game right now, considering we're about to get Days Gone. We're going to be going into E3, and if I'm being honest, if Sony wants to be smart about it, right, like if they really want to kind of be super competitive with Microsoft, which it's clear that Sony likes the position they're in, and they do not want to give anything up unless at all. They do not want to give any space away. They do not want to lose anything, any ground that they've conquered. So what I think a smart thing for them to do would be, if again, just hypothetically, if this is a Bloodborne 2 or something like that, it would make a lot of sense, in my opinion, for them to announce it probably the day after Microsoft's show, because Microsoft's going to have a big E3 for sure. They're going to have a lot to reveal clearly and a lot to talk about, and all eyes are going to be on them, and nobody's going to be paying attention to Sony because they're not going to be at E3. But that does not mean, just because Sony's not going to be at E3 doesn't mean that they don't want to have some big bombs to drop, right? But who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe they really do just want to actually save an announcement like this for, say, PSX 2019. There's been a lot of speculation that maybe Sony wants to save the PlayStation 5 announcement for PSX 2019 to really kind of bolster the show and prove that, they don't really need to have E3 to have these huge announcements, right? And having a substantial second-party game right there alongside maybe the PS5 announcement, would be just as huge, if not maybe even bigger. But, is this even a PlayStation 4 game? It's probably not, honestly. I mean, by that I mean it will definitely release on PlayStation 4, I would assume. What I mean is it's probably also being developed for the PlayStation 5, and so maybe Sony thinks it would just make more sense, considering there's some games we already know about right now, like The Last of Us Part 2, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, some of which may also be PlayStation 5 games. Maybe they just think, you know what, let's hold off on this. Let's hold it back. But man, I'm going to ask you guys, definitely let me know down in the comments, which studio do you think they could have this second party deal with? I mean, maybe I'm getting a little too hyped and I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, because I want it to be Bloodborne 2. I think people have been crying out for a Bloodborne 2, if I'm being honest. Like, I've seen the way people have reacted to the videos I've made of me playing it now. It's like almost 4 years old at this point or something like that, and people are still so into this game and the world that was created here, and they want more of it. Like, they're hungry for more. And so I have to imagine, that Sony and From Software have their finger on the pulse of this and they want to do something with it. I'd be shocked. But it could be anything. It could be anything, and this could be untrue. This could be untrue. It is a rumor. I know I have a tendency of getting like super, overly hyped, but I can't help it. That's just how I get. There's just nothing better than hearing that there's more coming, right, on top of what we're already getting, and that gets me very excited. And I really wonder what this game could be, and I want you to let me know what game you would like it to be. Which studio do you think that Sony is partnered with right now, where they have a substantial second party deal in place that they haven't revealed yet? Here's another one. Could it be Rockstar Games? We know that in the past Sony has tried to strike a deal with Rockstar for that game Agent or something. I know this is coming like way at the end of the video here, but I just thought of it. Could it be something like that? I mean, think about the recent rumors that popped up with Sony talking about acquiring Take-Two. A lot of, even though they're completely untrue, something that I've seen a lot of people say is, well, MBG, what if maybe the reason why these rumors are starting is because Sony's actually talking to one of their studios or striking a deal to have an exclusive game made by one of their prominent studios, such as Rockstar Games. Maybe it could be that. I would consider that a substantial second party deal. And we know that Rockstar likes to take their time on games, and they're just coming off of Red Dead Redemption 2. So who knows? Maybe it could be that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm going to end the video now, because if I don't, I'm probably going to sit here and ramble for another 10 minutes, and I don't want to do that. So be sure to let me know your thoughts down below. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification and share the video out on top of all that, because it helps tremendously. But until next time, guys, take care.